It's Crazy Kevin out about on Power FM for a business section, and I've got a lovely gentleman here with me. What's your name?
David Rook.
Now, David, I met you at a wedding quite recently, and you are a wedding photographer. Tell us all about wedding photography.
No, I love wedding photography. It's something that I chose to do instead of fashion or real estate photography because it's about life, and that one day life happens. All the good and the bad bits come out in people. The beginnings and the endings of things like you're going away from your parents, but you're developing your own relationship and building your own family, and that all happens on one day. And there's such an inevitability about a wedding too, because no matter what happens, it still goes ahead. If it's raining, it doesn't matter. If the groom forgets the rings, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just got this inevitability about it, and it only happens once, so you've got to be on board. And that's what I love about it, the pressure.
We're talking about rings missing and things like that. Anything ever happened like that?
Oh yeah, like I was at a mate of mine's wedding, and like I was doing this freebie, and then the guy goes, "Oh," and we all had the big joke. The big joke is like, "Oh, where's the wedding ring?" And he went, "Oh, hang on." So that happened. Just recently did a wedding at a Kumbunji. It was a really overcast, threatening rain day. As soon as the bride stepped out, it rained. And as soon as they said, "I love you," and kissed and ended, it stopped raining.
The sun came out. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
For the all-important photos.
Well, I've had a look at your great website, and you sort of like have got this different slant on taking photographs. It's like getting the real Australia and brown Australia.
Yeah, because like our skies are so big, and there's nothing more beautiful than nature. You can't beat that. And we've got lots of it in Toowoomba, so that's where I tend to photograph, and that's where I tend to specialise in.
Have you had any people asking you for different types of photographs?
Well, I recently photographed in the CBD of Toowoomba as well, so it's no big dramas, but they always ask me for something different, and they sort of hire me because of my look, because of my style. My photos tend to be a bit different from everyone else's anyway, so
how can people contact you?
they can contact me through Facebook, just David Rook Photographer or David Rook Photography, or they can just jump on the web, David Rook Photographer, David Rook Photography. I've got both names. Yeah, or they can give me a call on 0411 323 814.
You, of course, sit down with the clients beforehand and chat to them all about what they want.
Yeah, we sit down and like we muck around a lot on the wedding day, and that's where we start mucking around. And you get to know them, and you get to disarm them, and you get to see them as people instead of just a bride and groom. And that's when we get to know each other, and then just keep on moving through. And I really do enjoy it. By the time you finish the day, you become part of the family, you become the insider, and that's good fun too. And you have they've got to be able to trust you. When it's their day and you've got to photograph it, it's got to be spot on. It's got to be done properly, and to get to know them is a lot of fun.
That's the thing about it, photographer, isn't it? If you just sort of like stuck them up there, you've only just met them, take a couple of photographs, you don't know them. You've got to get into their psyche or whatever.
Yeah, that's part of the fun. Like I recently did one where the bride and groom had a fire truck, and we were mucking around. I was busting my gut trying to get a drive of the fire truck, but they wouldn't let me.
It's a bad subject to talk about, but have you had any Bridezillers?
I think Bridezillers is an unfair term, actually, because I think they're just girls who know what they want. And if you can't deliver and they get angry at you, whose fault is it? They employed you to do a job, and if you can't do it, you're going to get cranky at you. And they're going to get cranky on you when they've got Auntie Mavis wanting photos, and when the mum's wanting this and the dad's wanting that, you know, and a lot of pressure, a lot of people watching. And if you can't deliver, they might lose their annoyance, and they might get annoyed at you. And if you can't deliver, that's your fault.
It's a great take on Bridezillers, isn't it? Everybody normally blames the brides and all that, but no.
No, they're paying big money, and this big money. They're like, weddings can cost like $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, $100,000. And if you can't deliver, that's your problem.
Hey, hope you're enjoying this interview with David Rook. That's the first part. Later on in the show, you will hear the second part of a great interview with David Rook, wedding photographer extraordinaire, on Power FM. Here's the second part of a great interview I just had recently with David Rook, the amazing photographer. And I asked him, have you ever photographed in any weird venues at all?
At Kumbunji, we were the wet wedding. Yeah. They were on this property, and they want to utilise their property. And we're hanging off the back of a four-wheel drive going downhill, and I'm taking photos on this back of this four-wheel drive going downhill. I'm going, yeah. And my gear's not heavy, so the camera I was using that time would easily be 4 kilos. 3 to 4 kilos. So we're going downhill, photographing that sort of stuff. But that's also too, that's part of the fun of weddings, because you've got to be able to photograph in any conditions, at any time, and everything has to be beautiful. And that's part of the fun of it, because if it's raining, if you're on a golf course, it's got to be beautiful. If you're in the CBD, you've got to make things beautiful. If you're at the bush, it's a lot easier in the bush to make things beautiful, but you've still got to be able to deliver. You've still got to be able to make things look beautiful.
So did you have a bit of camera shake on that one?
There was a bit of camera shake. Yeah, there wasn't many good ones. Thank God it's digital, so it's going. Bop, 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 bop.
That's what I was going to say, David. Nowadays, me being an old guy, in the old days you'd have so many photographs and that was it. But now with the digital.
Yeah, so I delivered a wedding last night, and I delivered 1,993 photos, and a lot of those were really similar, but I can do it now. I can get like little bits of movement and things like that, and then I put that together in a slideshow, and the things can move almost. Looks great.
So do people choose ones that they want, or you just give them everything?
It's a process. When you get 2,000 photos, you can be really overwhelmed. So what I do is I tend to print out the ones that I like, and I go and so we go, oh, that's what it looks like, and that's what it looks like, that's what it looks like, and they look at 2,000 photos and go, my God, there's so many. And once they get sort of see the prints, and we talk about, and we walk around the house, this would look good here, and this will look good here, and this will look good here. And then they go, oh, cool, we've got that other one there. We could put this here, and then and then we could put that in an album and things like this. But one thing people really should do, they say, oh, I just want all the digital prints. We just recently lost my mother-in-law, but we found their great-grandmother, my wife's great-grandmother's wedding album.
Whoa.
And so we're able to go through the album and go, oh, that's Auntie Florence when she was 19, and this is blah, 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 and that's this and this and this and this, and oh, look how young he was, and look at what they were wearing. And they were able to remember that day from nearly 100 years ago today. And you can't do that if you've got a USB or a hard drive. Photos are still relevant. Printing is still relevant today, more relevant today, because you will always be able to look at the photos every time. My photos too, I tend to get my stuff done on museum grade paper, so you can have it for 100 years and you can still pass it down to people who aren't even here yet. And that's something I find exciting. Like my work as a photographer will go on for a long time and still be appreciated. And go, oh, look what they did then, and look what they did here, and look what they did there, and look, I remember how happy they looked, and all that sort of stuff. And you can relive that day again and again. Yeah. So printing, and even like people, I was popping on Facebook. Facebook disappears. Facebook changes every 10 years. You think of the changes between Facebook now and 10 years ago? It's vastly different. My wedding was on a VHS cassette. I haven't got a VHS cassette anymore. No one has. I don't have a DVD. How many people even have DVD players anymore? Yeah, so printing today is more relevant than ever. And then you can have great artwork on your wall that's of you guys on your special day.
David, you are the Leonardo da Vinci of photography. It's been great talking to you with your passion. It's brilliant. Now, once again, how can people contact you?
Oh, you can just contact me through the website. You can email me, or you give me a call on 0411 323 814. And my website is davidrookphotographer.com.au.
Is that R-O-O-K?
R-O-O-K. Yep, like Crook without the C.
David, it's been fantastic chatting to you today. Thanks so much, mate.
Thank you, mate. It's been a ball.